Please, anyone wants to sit down with us, don't hesitate. There's like a, sorry about that, there's a lot of free seats. Hey, how are you doing, man? Good to see you here. My friend Massis is here also. So, what the cameras you see behind you are some of the collection of the 99 Cameras Club, which is a collection that was actually given to me by my dad. My dad was a collector. He's been collecting cameras for about 50 years. He was passionate about many things, and one of the things about collecting was cameras. And I inherited something like 2,000 cameras. I have worked in NFTs. I've been working in NFTs for 2 years, and the question I was asking myself is, how can I turn such a vast collection of items into something that can be shared and liked by a younger generation and by people who actually appreciate NFTs? So the idea behind the club is I took those 2,000 cameras and went through them one by one and identified the 99 which I thought were the most interesting. The idea is to say, can we go from 99 very good cameras to a collection of 99 cameras which are the best ever, the most iconic? And how can I do this, not behind closed door as most collectors do, but by sharing this with a community? So the way the project works is that as time goes by, we replace the cameras with cameras more iconic. As you can see, you will find behind you some very interesting stuff. There's the first Leica, there's the first Contax, there's the actual spy cams from the KGB. You'll find a lot of cameras that are unique. The idea is that all those cameras can be upgraded. So ultimately, we want to bring it to a level where it's the best 99 cameras ever. This project started something like a year ago, and we've been selling NFTs, we've been talking about it, we had a lot of press, because there's been interest from newspapers about this. And we just signed up a deal with Harcourt. I don't know how many of you are French or live in France. Harcourt is a historical photo studio in Paris. It's, if you're an actor or a comedian or anything in France, you want to have your picture taken by Harcourt. It's like a classic. It's the black and white picture with the signature. So they've been living there for about 100 years. And they have this incredible mansion in the center of Paris. So we discussed with them, and they are helping us create the first iconic camera museum in Paris. There is no such place. If you're interested into cameras in Paris, there's nowhere to go. There's a technical museum where you'll find some of them, but there's no place dedicated to it. So starting, I hope, September, October, we'll have our own museum with the camera collection. Harcourt the interesting thing is that we're selling our NFTs on a platform that we built, and the same platform will be used to sell the pictures from Harcourt. At the same time, we have interested a company called iShot, which you may know, and they're going to be helping us producing an off-market book about the collection. The way the collection works is that we're 99 cameras. We want to have 99 founder members. People are actually involved through buying membership cards in NFTs. And those people will receive a book with, obviously, the 99 camera. It's an off-market book with their name on it, their logos if they're companies. And obviously, they have a lot of advantages in the sense that they can participate in the museum and in the book. So this is something we're doing with our friends at iShot. So how does this work relate to NFTs? So far, we have this collection, which people appreciate. We're having a museum, we're having a book. Somewhere in September, we will be issuing NFTs of each of the cameras. What you see here, which should be animated, is all those pictures are actually 360s of the cameras. They're going to be beautiful digital twins of each of the cameras that are in the collection. And when you purchase any of our NFTs, you get a share of the collection. Even if it's a camera NFT or if it's a membership card NFT, you get shares of the collection. Shares means that if we ever sell this thing, you get a participation to it. If this collection is making any merchandise, any money, you get a share of this. So we're really founding the upgrading and the life of the collection with the members who are purchasing the NFTs. So we'll be dropping 5,000 NFTs of the cameras. There's obviously 99 cameras. They're not all the same. They're not all as rare. So the supply will change depending on how rare they are. For example, for those of you who are into cameras, the Leica 1 will be more rare than a Kodak something. So there's going to be probably 20 Leica 1s and 50 Kodaks. For the Compass, which is one of the rarest we have, there's probably going to be only one. We're trying to make the supply match the rarity of the cameras. And the good thing is that we launched the project something like a year ago, I was meaning in September, and we started discussing about this with a lot of NFT platforms. People you see here are our first founder members. If you're in NFT photography, most of these names probably ring a bell. The people from Obscura are with us. The people from Light.art are following us. Rhapsody, I know they're here today. Blind Magazine, Meta Jungle, I think you know them. Alpha Trilogy is a member. So is Moby. So we're having quite a follow-up in the NFT photo space, which is good because ultimately people that are getting into the membership, it's people that have something to say to each other. What we're really trying to create here is turning physical items in the opportunity for a community to communicate. What I've been doing in the last few months since we're starting to have those members, I'm putting people in touch with each other. Typically, the people from Obscura wanted to talk to Blind Magazine, and now they have a reason to do it. And now they're sharing a museum in Paris. So it's creating a community. It's kind of meaningful. We're not really seeing people that are in for flipping NFTs. This is not a project where you're going to make $1 million by flipping anything we're going to be doing. What you're doing here is you're really investing in a long-term project that has a physical application, and that will drive, we hope, passion and interest. If you take a second to go through the cameras, if you're interested, you'll see that every time we try to write some sort of a small description. Try not to make it boring. We don't want to be the encyclopedia of photography. There's tons of them out there. We're really trying to make something that is interesting, where people can get curious, discover that all those cameras that have between 100 and 50 years have a history. There's a genealogy between cameras. I mean, some photographers know this, but there's a story why a Leica is a Leica, and why Contax is a Contax, and why Kiev is a Kiev, and how that evolved. And the war is involved in most of the times. There's this funny story. The Zeiss factories that were building the Contax were in Germany, and they were bombed. And when the Russians came in, they took the machines and they started producing the same cameras under a different name. And so there's a genealogy between those cameras. One of the cameras that you have back there is actually called a robot. And that's a camera that was designed by the German army to understand what the Stukas were bombing. You know, the way this worked is that the Stukas were going down on the targets. They would drop the bombs and they would go up. The guy would lose consciousness, and the camera was hanging behind the plane, taking pictures, so they knew if they had bombed anything that was meaningful or not. So all those cameras have a history. They're the grandfathers of the digital stuff we're using today, but they're not there by chance. And if you get to dive a little bit more into it, you discover it's a question of engineers that were into competition with each other, trying to be hired by such and such company. So all this, I've been discovering this since I'm doing this, honestly. I'm getting passionate about it, but it's really new for me. It's been almost a year. But I'm trying to transform this in something that's interesting without being boring, you know, something that's not like a long... And that's the idea behind this. We want to interest a younger generation. I don't know about you guys, but right now, every single Gen Z I meet has an analog camera, which is kind of cool. I mean, when I go out in Paris, everybody has his Olympus, and it's cool. They're getting interested into it. They're discovering the fact that reality, when you capture reality with a camera, at least it's some filter, it's some temper. It's actually what you see is what you get, and it takes time to get a good picture. And it's not just taking a selfie. It's really an act. And when I talked about the museum with them and the collection, they get interested because all of a sudden it's something they can relate to. So this is what this whole project really is about. And so those guys are involved into helping us. There's also, you have the full member list in one of the shelves. We also have pure NFT collectors that got in, people who they're into a photo. I was mentioning Alpha Trilogy and others that just got in because it's cool and because it kind of makes sense. We got camera experts. I was really proud of that. We've got Edward, that is KataWikis. I don't know if you know that KataWiki is a website that sells cameras and stuff. He's the European expert for cameras. He's a member. We've got this crazy guy, a guy called Adrian. He's living in Dresden, Germany. And that's where one of those cameras was built. And he's creating the Exacta. It's a brand, a museum. So he's like one single person creating, he has hundreds of cameras of the specific brand, and he's with us. So it's really creating people, we're geeks, but we're geeks that have something to say to each other. We've got photographers, Massis is one of us. So it's slowly becoming a community. So now we started with opening these membership cards a few months ago, and it was really on a white list. I mean, I was trying to find people that were actually interested in the project, saying, how about you got in? And now we're slowly changing, especially now that the museum is announced. We're creating 2 levels of membership. One is what we call the founder member, and the other one is more like the camera collector, because we're realizing that we're really talking to 2 different crowds. The camera collector is, I would say, the most immediate person that would be interested in the project. Is you get a membership card, you get one of the cameras collectible that will be dropped to you. If you have any of those cameras at home and you send me a serial number, I'll give you, we'll drop you the NFT for free. So that's kind of cool, because I've got people that are starting to sending me serial numbers, like they've got pictures of themselves with their own camera that is in the collection, and they say, my number is 123 whatever, and then once it come out, we will give it. And obviously you get a certain number of shares of the collection. Every NFT that we sell will give you a share of that collection. So if you purchase the camera collector membership, you get from 2 to 5 shares depending on how many cameras you have. And then we've got the other one. So it's sold 0.099 because 99 cameras, everything revolves around 99. And then we've got the founder members. This is something a bit more like what we had before, but it has become, we wanted to price it up because it's really a corporate type of support. We want this to become big. We need financing. We need some sort of way to be able to really get those iconic cameras that people want to have. So either because they belonged to someone, like Cartier-Bresson's Leica or something like that, or what's his name, Picasso's Fed, or I mean, there's a whole bunch of cameras that actually have individually a history. So we wanted to have something, and the idea here is that if you become founder member, then you really are part of the adventure, as in your name is in the museum. We can lend you the cameras if you want to do expositions, which is something of some companies do. Co-branding, obviously, is an opportunity. You get a whole bunch, I mean, people who are doing this, normally they have communities that themselves have cameras and they have collectors. So they give us the serial numbers for their own members. This is something Obscura is doing. If you're an Obscura member, if you have one of the cameras, you send them the serial number, they send it to me, and you get the NFT for free. So that's something they're offering to their community. So it's really those 2 levels. So this is way more expensive. It's almost 1 ETH. It's 0.99. But the idea is really to get, how do you say, corporate or media or people that want to have their name on the project. So those are the 2 levels we're building. You can mint. The interesting thing is that maybe that's an interesting point for you guys that are in NFTs, is that we're using a technology that makes no difference if you're in euros or in ETH. The whole system is used on, it's called personal NFT, and it works through an app, so you can really purchase your card or whatever NFT we have collectible with your credit card or with your Ethereum wallet, and you mint whenever you want. So some of the members never mint and will never mint because they're not crypto fans. They don't care about the NFT. They care about the project. They want to be members. They pay it in euros. They have their card. They have all the advantages. I'm done. You tell me. I can go for 2 hours. Oh, what time is it? Okay. It's my last slide. So people can really get in either by ETH or credit card if they want to. Also because we wanted to give the opportunity to people that actually go to the museum that are not crypto whatsoever to get into the collection, having the advantages, the book or whatever, without having to actually own a crypto wallet. So voilà, I'm being told it's a bit too long, I think. Okay, here we go. Oh, you, please. How do we do it? We don't. We don't in the sense that it doesn't really work. When you buy one of our NFTs, you get the twin, in the sense the copy of. The rarity is the same, but the share you get is not of the individual camera, is of the whole collection. The reason why we're doing this is because the cameras in the collection actually change. Like they're 99. If tomorrow I upgrade, I don't know, one Leica for another, I take that away and I put a new one in. So you get a share of the whatever resulting collection and not the individual camera. We have written if you want to go through this, just go to the website, everything's explained. And if you want to go to really deep into it, there's terms and conditions that we wrote that are kind of, I hope, clear on the implications. For example, the way this works is I've signed up with whoever joins the fact that I cannot split the collection, for example. Now that it's here, I am not allowed to sell one of those cameras individually. I have to sell the whole thing if I want to sell it. And if I sell it, then you guys, if you join, you get a share. So this is kind of the commitment that we had to take. Same thing with the book. If we cannot produce the book, then we'll reimburse a part of whatever membership you've been paying. We're trying to make this as serious as possible. There's an invoice, you get an invoice, so if you're a company, you get a VAT that you can use. We're trying to bring this in the real life and not just be in the space of the crypto. Sorry?
Can you, can you vote on whether to sell or hold the assets?
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. When you get shares, you actually get voting rights. To be transparent with you, I have no idea how this is going to work, but this is the objective, is that people will somehow vote, either on the Discord or on the website, on major decisions. The thing with camera collection is that it's most of the times an opportunity thing. Like you go on a flea market and you see something that is, so you want to take it. So in this case, I guess, but if it grows to the point that we want to buy this very expensive thing in Christie's, for example, then yeah, this is going to be the decision that we'll definitely have to vote. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. It's I'm gonna be here if you have any questions, because I think I have to give the microphone back. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much, and thank you, Maxime.